Welcome to Bar Z.
Welcome to Bar Z. This is Randy Richard in Stan's shop. I know everybody else is doing this sort of thing, but we're here and we did it. Anyway, we spent the day grinding. This is weekly update number 29, according to Stan. We're going to show you real quick. Oh, where's the GoPro? I'll go. It's just sitting in my bag on that stick.
Okay.
And this is the prototype that we that I made the other day for Stan. This will go on the James Kilroy printed GoPro mount, like so, for welding shots. So you can just put that on. That's what that was for. There we go. We also have a visitor here in the shop today. He thinks he was going to get out of it. Can I use your name?
Yes, you may.
No, we have Mr. Greg France. And he lives just down the street. Here, stand in here for a second. Come and say hi.
How's everybody doing?
This is Greg France.
Hi, Greg.
You guys see him posting stuff on Facebook all the time. All right, get out of here.
Okay, I'm out. Bye.
Anyway, we also did a bunch of grinding. We made some A-bomb size gauge blocks. These are 2 inches thick, 6 by 6. 2 of them. Look at that. Oh, okay, you guys, you gotta see that, how that looks on the, look at the pattern on the screen here, you guys. You guys
Good or bad?
look at it. Look, it looks cool. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh wow, taking me back to the '60s there.
Yeah, look at how that came out. We did some spiral grinding there from Don Bailey, and Chuck showed us that. Anyway, these blocks came out within a tenth of flatness and within a tenth of being the same thickness and parallel. Unbelievable. Stan's grinder is awesome. I love it. What else did we do? We ground a couple other things.
We ground up
We
a
fixed,
pair of 1, 2, 3 blocks that are no
1,
longer
2, 3 blocks.
That are no longer 1, 2, 3 blocks, but at least they're square.
They're square and parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're going to do some Kurt Weiss jaws if time
curved
allows.
five jaws. We need to still do that real quick.
Mhm.
That's just dust them and clean them up.
Mhm.
Okay. What
Okay.
else? Stan's probably going to throw some other stuff in here. Who knows what? But he has an awesome shop, you guys. If you ever have a chance to visit Stan, come and visit Stan. He has an awesome shop. It's not real big. You could use a little more space.
Yeah, I fit in here too. We can get.
There he is.
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
It's how you use it.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. This is great. He has a bunch of squares here. Look at these squares. I love these things. I don't have a pair of these though, Stan.
Didn't I send you 60/30s?
Nah, I just have the little 90 ones.
I'll grind you up some 60/30s.
60/30s. These are. Now, is that just from being heat treated? The
That's
finish?
all. That's all heat. Yeah.
That's just from the last heat.
That's hardening scale and.
Then you're going to grind these.
Absolutely.
Still, these still need to be ground.
Yeah, those are on ground. After they get face
Yeah.
ground, they look like this.
Right. They're not. These ones aren't ground yet.
No, those haven't been touched.
Yeah. Right. This is how mine are. I'm going to blue mine this summer. A video thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll rust blue them.
Rust bloom. So they're going to be brown when you're done.
No.
Oh.
No, they'll be blue, but it's a method.
Oh.
It's a
I'm not familiar with it, so
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that.
I explained it to you in an email at one time. But
Yeah, I wasn't getting it.
now, what's this relief thing here? What's that? That's new.
No, I grind release. Yours have release.
No.
This is finished.
Yeah.
When it's finished ground, this isn't ground yet.
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. It's
That
like
release not finished.
That's why it's like that. That's-
Nope, that's in that square is in process.
You need these squares. Everybody needs these squares. They're wonderful.
Okay, but there goes my email again. It's gonna light up.
You haven't talked about the service plate.
This is a wonderful surface plate. This is Stan's surface plate, and it's on his new stand. Everybody needs a sand-ridged surface plate, I think.
Yeah, and it's flat as hell. It's been we've had some.
It is very, very nice.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed with the quality of it.
Well, even measuring around with this in the center and taking the gauge all the way around, we're getting some really nice
Right.
readings, and I'm really happy with the size of this one.
Yeah, this is great. This granite came from a quarry, from the Raymond Granite Quarry that is about 40 miles from my house. So.
Yep, they said they get it from up by Yosemite. That must be the one
That's
he's
it.
talking about.
Yeah.
And then the other one is down in Escondido. Well, there are two sources for granite.
Yeah.
They call this I think they call this a blue. It doesn't look blue to me, but they call it a blue. It's bluer than some.
It's a Standridge plate on a stand.
On a stand.
Oh,
A Bar Z stand.
That's a Standridge.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Standridge plate.
All right, you guys.
All right, you guys, we got,
Enjoy the
we
rest
got
of the
other
show.
stuff to do.
Oh, hi guys. And thank you, Randy and Greg, for that intro. We had a great time on their visit. Randy, I sure appreciate you coming down, and I really appreciate you making that welding adapter for me. He made this this piece that goes on my GoPro mount, and I can test it quickly by putting welding screens in front of it. And I've come to the conclusion. I talked to Adam and a couple other guys, and the GoPro is just not suited for welding video. It's light sensitive. They really want a lot of light. And as soon as you put them behind a dark lens, they don't react well. They don't autofocus and all that. So I've come to that conclusion. Randy, I sure appreciate you going to all the trouble to make this for me, but I think the GoPro is our limiting factor here. Not to mention is if I do get the GoPro in close enough to get a good shot, the GoPro has no zoom. So, I mean, by the time you're this far away, you got no room to get into work. You need to be able to back your camera up, get a lens on it, and fix the auto focus or the auto balance to a fixed point. Zoom out where you got room to work, do your work. And I think these guys that have successful welding video are doing that. So I'm still working on it, but I appreciate you going to this effort, Randy. Next up, Randy brought some grinding projects with him. And when he said, yeah, I got some stuff to grind, I said, yeah, bring them over. He brought over some substantial blocks. Let's go take a look at that.
Is it on Facebook?
I'll throw it on Facebook. I'm doing a little short video clip here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got those big blocks. We did the spiral grind trick from our friend Don Bailey over at Suburban Tool, and it turned out good. The finish isn't great. It's a little scallopy looking. You know, you're not getting that smooth finish. It's a little chattery, but man, they sure are flat. Okay, so a little bit of lapping, and those things will come right in. All right, next up, I'm here to correct a great wrong. I'm probably on your way in. You might have seen my new channel art, not on this video, but over on the channel, I've got a new banner over there. Also down in the in your lower right there, you're going to see my brand. Now this is thanks to James Harrell over at jamesharrelldesign.com. I've been rolling him in my credits forever as jamesharrelldesigns.com. So, but he did my channel banner. He did the title card that you saw on the way in on this video, and he did my brand down there in the bottom corner. And James, I should thank you for all your efforts on this. And he's actually tuning up my decimal equivalent charts with the banner and stuff there. So those will probably get a little rearranged and kind of freshened up. Those are just my hack desktop publishing at its best. So that's about as good as it gets out of me. All right, but thanks again, James. And if any of you guys need some channel artwork, you want to spruce up your channel a little bit or get a title card going or something, contact him over there. Tell him Bar Z sent you, and he's real easy to work with. I've never met him, and we just deal with everything on the internet, and it's Simple and painless. Okay, next up, 5,000 viewers. Came up on me way faster than I thought I was going to. I wanted to do something special, but I got nothing in the works. Last at 4K, we did nuts in a jar. Be dumb to do the same thing again. I want to do something different. I want to give something away. Maybe we'll save it for our 6K celebration or something. But 5,000 viewers, you guys are still subscribing. You guys are still watching. You guys haven't completely abandoned me yet. Thank you for that. Let's do a quick mail call, and it is directly involved with the next segments. So let's go get the mail call out of the way, and then I'll show you what we did with all this stuff that came in. This all hit in one day.
Okay, we got some boxes today. This one is the one that I was expecting. This was some tooling I bought off of the YouTube Machinist BST channel. That's the buy, sell, trade channel. And outside of a little bit of spam you have to deal with, because when an unsavory member gets into the group, it's a pretty good bunch of guys. And pretty safe buying, selling, trading. And I got these for a pretty good price. And so far, nicely packaged. It's the heavy bubble wrap, real heavy bubble wrap. It's got it on another padded envelope. And he said the box was damaged, so I'm expecting a little bit of damage on the box. But this thing was a pretty smoking deal. That thing is really tight in there. I don't know how you got that sucker in there. And there's my box damage, but I knew that was coming. And this is just an interstate kit, so it's an import, and it was marked for $200 over on the buy, sell, trade, and that is a set of expanding mandrels, still brand new in the box. So pretty nice kit. This is 1/2 inch all the way up to 2 inch expanding mandrels. So $200, that's a pretty smoking deal because of some box damage. And here's another one I was expecting. I've been shopping online for quite some time for a DRO. So DRO mill kit. And I wanted my old Accurite 2. Some of you may remember I had one viewer send me the readout so it would so I could get going again and at least get working. And but I was worried about it being on its last legs, and I just wanted to get started again with a fresh mill setup. So what I bought was the EL700. It's an LCD display. If you guys are familiar with DRO pros, you know what the EL700 is about. And they've got some nice videos on them too. They sent me a CD. They sent me the scales. I'm not going to take everything out of the box, but I just want to look at the display to see what the display looks like on the 700. Certainly is a lot more compact than my big Accurite. Oh, this thing is tiny. Look at that. I bought the 3-axis. I've got X, Y, and Z. I bought the quill model, so I've got the Z on the quill. But that'll be a project for another day to put that in. That's going to be quite a bit of work to get that on. And unfortunately, I need to clean my machine before I do anything to it. So 3 scales, a readout, I've got a quill axis kit. I've got a universal mounting kit, and I got a single arm stand for the DRO. I'm guessing this is the stand that comes off the mill somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of brackets and bolts and stuff in there. Okay, lots of good stuff to play with. Can't wait, pretty excited about this. But I got more packages, so let's go open them up. Specialty cutter by Melin, M-E-L-I-N, made in USA, inmill.com. Wow, that's a unique one. But that's for spotting, chamfering, drilling, side milling, and it's 45-degree cut. Pretty nicely made, solid carbide. But I've got some 45-degree chamfering to do, so, and just little tiny things, so I thought I'd try that for the chamfer. So I'm going to try that. Actually, I'm going to try that on the plastic job. Okay, and here's the last thing on the list. This is a tiny little thing. And some of you know that my tempering oven and my baking oven I'm sharing with a knife maker who is very close to me, in proximity to me. But he's not always there, and we kept it over at his place, and it became inconvenient for me. So this is a small oven. Before reading and fully understanding and including instructions, yada yada yada. They sent me a small graphite crucible, which is nice. I can use this oven to melt aluminum. And they also loaded me up with styrofoam packing peanuts. How awesome is that? Look at that. Yeah. Let me go dump these peanuts and I'll be right back. Okay, and with the bulk of the ozone depleting constituents out of there, we're going to pull this little guy out of here. And we'll set it on the table, we'll open it up, and I'll show you what it's all about and what it does. And it's interesting, not many people know about these. We actually have a couple of laboratories that buy these for lab use. Ooh. Alright. Come on, popcorn, get down in there. Alright, let's get this crap out of here. It's hard to believe this is an oven, huh? Well, there it is. This is called a tabletop oven. It's from the Tabletop Furnace Company. And it's just the tiniest of ovens. Perfect for doing squares. It's American made. It's made up in Washington State. It's UL listed. It's got a nice stainless steel enclosure. It's light. It's 110 volts. And it's just a perfect little oven for small parts. You know, if you want to do this kind of stuff in your shop, this temperature can be set anywhere between 100 and 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. I only harden my parts at 1500, and then I temper them at 400. So it's perfect. Doesn't take up much space. Doesn't take a gob of power. You're not heating up a big old giant oven. It's just got a little PID controller, so it's very accurate. It's got a cooling fan for the SSR inside. So it's got solid state contacts and stuff in there, but it's got a cooling fan for the controls, and just a great little oven. Now, I've had laboratories that have bought these. That's how I found out about them. Laboratories buy these because they're compact and they can just put them on the table in a lab. and they'll actually calibrate if they need them calibrated. They'll bring in a calibration company and calibrate the temperature on them, and then I see them with stickers on them all the time, cal certificates, so they pass calibration. So good little oven, and if your parts aren't any bigger than that, you know, that's perfect right there. It's just a good size for doing little parallels or little squares or pretty much anything anything you need. Anything bigger than that, I'll go next door. But I'm going to tell you the price now. If you look them up, these are marketed as a jewelry meltdown furnace for melting gold and silver and things like that. These come in just a shade under 500 bucks. So for what you're going to spend on an oven for your kitchen, you can get this. So I don't have to temper. You know, I can, you know, if I'm doing a bunch of production and doing a lot of stuff at one time, I can set up to do hardening next door, and then I can do my tempering here or whatever. But it's going to be nice to have my own little furnace here on a tabletop. All right. Oh, you're back. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I got a DRO for my mill. I got a little oven, which I'm going to show you what I'm going to use it for, and just some shop supplies for a job that's coming up. I got a bunch of plastic work I got to do, and I'm collecting tooling, and the plastic's due in middle of next week, and we're going to roll ahead on that. Let's go take a peek at the DRO installation. Okay, this is the piece that came with the DRO. I got my scale mounted, but this right here, the spigot, like what you see I made here, the spigot sticking out, is smaller than this, and it lets the quill do that. You see the whole quill is wiggling, and that in turn is going to move my scale or my reader back and forth on my scale. So I couldn't think of any other way to do it. It's such a small amount. I just made one with a bigger spigot on it to take up that slop. I'm going to have about 3 thousandths of slop up and down that slot in the main head. But I couldn't think of any other way to do it, so had to make a new one. Okay, well I finally got it done, got this piece made, and here's the one that came with the kit, and they see where they had milled off those flat spots, they just took too much off, and there's really no room to make a sleeve. It would just get too thin if I turned it round, and so I just made a whole new one, and I've got about 1,000th of plate, just very little in there. So, and that keeps the scale and the reader within its spec. It's allowed to move so much, and it keeps it within spec. So this Z-axis has turned into a pretty big hassle. But I think that's the last piece I need. I've already trimmed in this scale. The scales are kind of nice. They've got these screws here where you can, where these go all the way through the ends, and that actually tips the scale left, right. You can jack it up here, so you can kind of pivot the scales around to get them flat and, you know, running straight, and then you use these slotted holes to tip it this way and get them trammed in. So this scale's already trammed in, done. All I gotta do is set the reader and get my spacing behind there, and this thing's, the Z-axis is done, finally. All right, that's done. Well, I got my DRO installed. It's finally done, and I bought the EL700 from DRO Pros, and here's the display here, and it's it's kind of unique. You know, it had some features I wasn't even expecting, didn't even know about. If you take, for instance, this little bar graph as you're approaching 0, you can see the graphs over on the left, and as I hit 0, I get an alarm, which I can turn off if I want to, and then see if I bypass it, it sends a little bar graph the opposite direction over here. So that's actually pretty neat. And anything I've got, if I set this to so let's say go 200, we're at 0.2, and I want to cut that number in half. Say I've moved myself over to the center of a part, I can just cut that number in half, pick the axis, and see now it's 0.1. So and that shifts my 0 and everything. So it's pretty neat that it turned it into just more of a tool. More than just numbers is all I had before. And with the bolt hole circles and the line holes, I'll go through one really quick. If we're going to do a bolt hole circle, we're going to select it here, corner to center. We're just going to start at 0, 0. Size of the circle, let's just pick, 2 inch. Starting angle 0 is fine. Number of holes, let's just pick 4. The depth, it'll also control the down feed if I have to go to each hole and drill to a specific depth. Let's say 1/4 inch, and set plane XY, and then just go. And then it gives me a graphic display, and it starts me off in the center. My table position is the red, and my target is the green. And as I move the table over, I'm going to get to my first hole, and I'm going to get an alarm just like you heard before. And now we're there, and we're ready to drill. And then we drill, and it's going to come up on the. It's going to come up with an alarm for the hole depth, and I just switch holes like that, and then now I go to my second, third, fourth. So bolt hole, neat. Let's get out of this. But I've got bolt holes available, a line hole, which is basically just a line of holes, a grid, which is a grid of holes, a frame, which is like a pocket mill in a frame configuration, arc contouring, so I wanted to step in a specific arc, maybe step mill or something, pocket milling, which is cutting out the whole center, cutting just a simple slot. There's your 0 approach. Polar coordinates, haven't figured that out yet. Job timer, not going to use it. And shrinkage factor, which is interesting if you've got parts that are going to, shrink after you cut them, if they're going to get hot and then shrink down. Something real sensitive, I don't know, some material. You can put in a percentage and it adds it into the whole job. So pretty neat. Onboard calculator. It's just got a bunch of contents in there, just pretty much everything you can imagine. It's got drill and tap sizes, decimal equivalents, trig tables, a lot of stuff inside of there. But and we did the Z-axis. That was interesting, making all those brackets work. Down here you got to create a step to go around these pieces here. This block I actually had to make to fit back into the spindle, and the scales fit on really good. Here's a shot of the X axes. Scales fit on there pretty nice. Got a nice cover on them, and these are the magnetic scales, so I don't really worry about stuff coolant and stuff splashing on them. And this one's fairly well protected under here. There's a cover over the actual reader, but there's not a cover over the entire scale. So that was kind of interesting. But it's all done and ready to go to work. All right.
All right, and back from that, the DRO took a little longer to put in. I'm still learning the onboard computer. The onboard calculator is wonderful. And that's going to bring me to another topic here in a little while about tangent angles. But the DRO, I'm just kind of learning it, and so far it's more than just my standard XY positioning. There's a lot more to it now. Okay, next up is the little oven. Some of you know that I built a welding finger, a 3-point welding finger. Actually, I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'm gonna go get it and I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, and I went and got that thing. All right, 3-point welding finger, sliding weight, garden variety. Hold your parts down on the table while you tack them. The only difference with mine has a real finger on it. Well, not a real finger, it's a cast finger from a Hollywood horror mask company. Anyways, dumpster diving for fingers, got a finger. It's plastic, it'll melt when you weld next to it. Little oven, graphite crucible right here. I'm going to be casting aluminum fingers. So I've already made a batch of scrap aluminum and done a pour. I just did a soup can pour, that was my first pour. And I'm looking into getting some green sand and casting my own finger. And by popular demand, we're going to have 3-point welding fingers with a real finger hanging off of them available. Dumb you may say, this is all scrap. I got a bunch of 1/4-inch rod. These are just scraps of 1018 for a sliding weight. And then the finger is just going to be scrap aluminum. Just something fun to make. As long as you don't run out of 1/4-inch rod, they'll be available. Looks like kind of a pain to ship though. You may got to come up with a way to break it down. Anyways, so welding fingers on the way. Next up was just shop supplies. Like I said, that was nothing super interesting. I am going to make a correction on that little oven. It is not UL listed. I don't think I was wearing my glasses at the time or wasn't looking or whatever. That is not a UL listed oven. So if it matters to you, it's not UL listed. Okay, next up, for all you Makita guys out there, and this is going on for a very short time. I got this from some parts I ordered. It was just a coupon. It's from toolbarn.com. I'm not affiliated in any way, but the big 18 volt lithium ion battery from Makita, 50% off, regular price $99. So that thing's gonna come in at about 50 bucks. The code is MAK415. The offer is only good till the 30th. But for 50 bucks for a lithium ion battery, I know much Milwaukee's cost, and that's a smoking deal. For you Makita guys, I'm not a Makita guy, but you've been told. All right, we looked at the DRO install. Oh, I got a quick square tip. I just ran across it. I was putting in I had the vise off the mill, and I just need to square up a part really quick and just do a little bit of parallel milling. Here's a square.
So here's your tip of the day. Now your standard square doesn't fit in your T-slots. So we got no way to square this part with this. This thing just ain't gonna work. To the rescue right there. Just hook it on your T-slot, square your part. Now you can do some parallel milling. Done deal. That's your tip of the day. Pretty easy stuff. See ya, bye.
Okay, quick and simple. The regular garden variety squares don't fit, stands do. Next up, I picked up a bandsaw. It was on Craigslist. It was cheap. I went and looked at it. The cast iron was perfect. Not a crack in it. And everything was there. It wasn't missing anything, and it ran. You know, so for what I paid for it, it was just ridiculous to let it sit there. So I grabbed it. My first thought went out to James Green, and we couldn't work out the logistics. I was going to donate it to his shop. It needs a few minor things. The down feed leaks, and it needs a coolant pump. But outside of that, it runs and it's ready to cut. But we couldn't work out the logistics. Kind of stuck it up on YouTube. Thought maybe someone would show a little interest. They didn't. One of my local YouTubers here actually got an eye on it, and he's already committed to it. But let's take a look at that. It's a Famco 6x12, kind of a cool machine. So good looking saw. it would make a wonderful restoration. I think Rick's very close to me here in Rancho, and I think he may maybe do some of the work here or some of the tear down, and I can help him get a restoration on. Probably send the parts out to sandblast and just make it really nice. And I'll make sure I do a photo log of that. I did have a late arrival on a mail call from James Green. Let's go take a look at this.
Here's the last second arrival, so I thought I'd stick this in this one here. And I was expecting this, but it feels like I got more than I bargained for. This is from James Green. Package barely made it. It's starting to blow out. Maybe you should use foam. Oh, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I'm just kidding. Never use foam. So let's see what Mr. James Green sent us. Wow, it looks like more than I bargained for. I think this is the mic that I'm missing from my set. It's a number 226, 4 to 5. And I think, yep, that's the one I'm missing. Sorry, I didn't mean to just let you sit there looking at that box. He's got packed in oil. I can smell it. It smells good. Can't tell if those are carbide faces or not. Yeah, they are. It's got a carbide face. Oh yeah, wonderful smell. Packed in gun preservative. Even the finish is nice. The anvil's in pretty good shape. One little ding out of it there. Not too bad. Wow, look at that. It was recently calibrated. 10-15-04. I'm used to seeing it back in the 70s and stuff. So stare at number 226, 4 to 5. Feels nice. Ratchet feels good. It's got the lock. So that completes my set. There, and there. Set complete. All stare at 226s. These are the ones Adam Boots sent me here. He's the only one left to clean up. I took a burnishing wheel. I don't remember if you remember the condition when Adam sent them. I took a burnishing wheel to the back side of these. It's like a woven Scotch-Brite wheel, really tightly wound Scotch-Brite wheel, and just polished the beams. And I think this one I repainted the center. The center of the paint was coming out, so I actually bought a kind of a matte black, slight crinkle finish, and that one turned out good. It looks good when you oil it. Okay, but that replaces, this one was getting me by here, and this thing was missing the thimble, and it's kind of rough. This is a number 436, stare at 436, 4 to 5, missing a thimble, not with carbide faces, but if you need some parts or a lock for one of yours, or even a beam or whatever, if you need some parts, I think this 436 is kind of a donor. All right. Well, James, thank you. That completes my set. I'm really stoked, and we can get that off the board. Now I can officially make a case for these. I was going to make a box and get them all cleaned up and get them put away in a box. But that's a wonderful set now, and I'm very pleased to have it.
And James, thank you for that. That completed my set. Still trying to figure out what the heck these things are. These tops spin, and they've got this plastic plug in them, and down inside it looks like it's some kind of a check valve or something down in there. I don't know if you're getting any light down in there. But it takes a pin spanner on the face, and it's got one gland nut on it, one half nut here, and this doesn't, it's not a detent, but this does spin. So it's, I don't know what the hell it is. It's got an internal thread in there too. My first thought it was some kind of arbor or tool setter. No idea. So, James, if you don't know what it is, maybe one of the viewers knows what that is. Let me know. I got 3 of them now. Okay. We did at work. Oh, wait. Some of you guys probably saw me popping bubble wrap opening up James' package. Now I know Elena Booth has a special place in her heart for bubble wrap.
Hey Adam, you need to get Elena one of these. This is gonna make bags of air for her. Pretty cool, huh?
That would be constant entertainment for Elena. Just nonstop. She can just make them and pop them. Just forever. All right. Next up at work, we did an oven retrofit. We had another low NOx customer that had to have the low emissions burner. This is a 1-state burner. Doesn't happen in any of the other 49 states. Welcome to the left coast. So, low NOx burner. Customer spent ridiculous amounts of money changing out this burner to gain 2 points in his NOx level. 2 points. So he went down from a 2.0 to about a 0.2. Whatever. So NOx levels down, and we have our laboratory test coming up this coming week. Let's go take a look at that.
How to use this thing. You used to see light in there.
Someone open the door. Exhaust fans off.
All right, and we're back. Well, let's take a look at the board, see where we're at with this stuff. We haven't updated in a long time. Surface plate stand, we're done with that. Coolant solenoid, never made it on the grinder yet. The lathe motor swap, man, that's been up there forever. Look, we don't even want to erase. It's been up there so long. I did it finally. Got our lathe swap finished. We went from a 1-horse to a 2-horse. I had a takeout from a customer's place. It was a 2-horsepower Lincoln inverter rated. I always buy oversized drives. I already had a 3-horsepower VFD on the lathe, so I could go all the way to 3 on that lathe. I always buy a bigger VFD than I need. So, anyways, I was changing out the drive from the 1-horse to the 2-horse. I'm going to lay a tip on you for setting up drive belts when you've got a split taper bushing.
Hey guys, I just thought I'd lay a little tip on you, and I do this a lot on a lot of high-speed drives. Anything that's motor related, you know, anywhere in the 1700 to 3000 RPM range. When you've got a bushing and a sheave separate, when you cinch these bolts down, essentially it pulls it up onto the wedge, and it's called a wedge-mated connection. And actually, this taper bushing here, it's split in the back, and it actually just clamps down on the shaft radially. But when you're tightening these bolts, this shiv will just cock slightly, and you can actually indicate it and dial it in. You got 3 bolts to work with, so it's just like working with a with a chuck kind of on your lathe. And let me get this thing kind of dialed in here so we can grab a reading. And you want to take your readings right where the belt runs. And I'm going to show you how to make high-speed drives run really smooth. All right, so you got about 5 thou run out. Let me get my low spot there. Dial in that low. Yeah, you're about 5. About 5 on the nuts. That tells me this bolt here is the tightest one. And I go to this one here, which is pretty loose. And when I tighten this, it's going to pull it up. So I'm just going to put my wrench here on this guy right here. Give it a little snug. And see where this bolt is. Now I'm at about 3. Let's go around to this one here. That one's at about 2 thou. And you're not going to get it perfect, but you want to get as much run out of there as you can. So we got it down to about 2 thou now. But the bushing still needs to be tightened a little more. So you always go to your low. Wherever your low one is, tighten your lows. And this doesn't take but just seconds to do. And then your pulley's running true. And at the high speeds, anywhere you can cut vibration is a winner chicken dinner. Let's see how we did there. Okay, we got about a 1 thou tick. Let's find our lowest one. That's your low right there. 1/2 thou? I'll take it. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
And back, and that's a good way to keep vibration out of your drive system. We use this on blowers and pumps and anything else that runs at a high RPM. Lose as much run out as you can, and the thing will run real smooth. All right, let's go take a look at the cut that it makes now. Now we've got a little bit of horsepower behind us. What you're getting ready to see is a 2,000 RPM cut with a CNMG. I'm taking 40 thousandths off of the radius and making an 8 thousandths per revolution cut. Okay, so that lathe kind of gets with it now. It's pretty nice if you got to remove a lot of material quickly. I don't see any need in going 3-horse. We're going to get to the limits of the rigidity of my machine very rapidly. But it's nice to have that horsepower there when you need it. Upcoming, you see up there, tool grinding, multiple angles. We had this conversation over on Facebook. I've been doing some tangent angles on the surface grinder. And I got the formula figured out. It took me a while to get everything figured out. What you need to do to prepare for this is go on Google, look up a table of tangent for angles, angle tangents. This one is in 1 degree increments, so it's going to give you 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree. So you can't split any angles, but it's got all the corresponding tangents. And when you would use that would be like on this tool bit from the top down, that's 60 degrees, but it's got an 11 or a 10 degree back rake. So if I just tilted my plate up at half of that at a 30 degree angle and just ground it, I'd be off because I'm doing a multiple angle. I'm tipping it sideways 10 degrees to achieve that. So there's a correction in there to get your top down angles correct. And I'm going to go over all that with you. So this is ground on the surface grinder. I'm going to try to show you that back rake. This is just an old Rex AAA that I reground. Okay, but it's 60 degrees, it's correct. Here's another tool that I ground. This is kind of an interesting one. And I'm going to show you the profile here. I'll just turn it slowly. And you say that's kind of an odd looking duct there. What that does is that goes in actually in kind of an arbor like this. And see, now it makes sense because that arbor's at a 45 and that tool comes around and cuts. I actually have to make a square bottomed circular cut in a piece of plastic for a kind of a square, it's either a gasket or an O-ring, but there's a special O-ring that drops in there, and this tool is just for cutting that on the mill very precisely and very repeatably. So this is just a one-trick pony. That's all this thing's going to do is cut those circles. But I needed the tool to do that, to make all those angles. So tangents are interesting. Got them figured out. Did some of the boring bar threading work on that little guy there. 60 degree. But we're gonna go over that. So that's on an upcoming video. And I thought it'd be a good topic. We talked about it a little bit, and I actually don't think it's been covered by anybody. So that's gonna probably be our next standalone. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I want you all to have a good Memorial Day. 3 o'clock tomorrow. Remember your moment of silence. And have a good remainder of your weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody.